Ladies and gentlemen, Healthy Criticism here. Today I'm taking a look at Gatekeeper in early access. It is a fast-paced roguelike shooter in isometric top-down style view, very similar to what Risk of Rain 2 is in terms of gameplay, but not in terms of form factor, because Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person shooter. This is more of a top-down Diablo style shooter. And that's basically the short description of the game. If you don't fully understand what I'm talking about, well, hopefully you're going to understand by the time I get to the gameplay. But before I get to the gameplay, as always, I like to take a look at the settings. We got the game settings here. There's going to be a few options for full-time stop when you're trying to choose your upgrade path. You got damage stats, camera shake. I would have liked to see a camera shake intensity instead of just a toggle. Enemy HP bars, HP bar above Gatekeeper. Those are crucial in my opinion. Squad HP panel. Good luck finding this because nobody's fucking playing the game, unfortunately, which does kind of suck. We got direction indicator, camera offset, and run in background, which are pretty cool to see. Video options, you have a few. You have some anti-aliasing options. You don't have any super sampling, which is unfortunate. You got some shadow quality, texture quality, anisotropic filtering, main shadows, additional light shadows, soft shadows, edge blur. I don't know why you're edging the blur, but just let it be happy. Bloom frame rate, which is the refresh rate of your panel optimally. Full screen on or off, I have it on because there's no borderless window. There's only windowed or full screen by the looks of it. VSync and screen resolution. And these are going to be your graphics presets if you want to do that. Sound, you got sound you got music control and sound effects control. That's pretty much all there is to it. The sound effects are kind of bundled with everything. You have the sound effects of your weapons, the enemies, the menu, and everything. So that's going to be all bundled into one. Mouse and keyboard. I did have to change the fourth skill button to my side button on my mouse. I recommend you might want to do the same, but it is entirely up to you. So you know, it's personal preference. Once you play the game once, you're going to know exactly what you're going to need to change, or what you may not want to change. We're going to go back, and we're going to go into the join section of the game, which unfortunately is dead. The game is still in early access. It has been released for over a year now. It came out on May 13, 2024, and right now we are on June 20th, 2025. That's been a year of early access development. I think the game is close to release, honestly. But that being said, they need to do a little bit more marketing efforts for the game in order to actually make it a little bit more accessible. It is $15, and right now it's 25% off across multiple platforms. Some platforms might have it a little bit more of a discount. You never know. We're going to do single player because that's all we can do, really. This is a Void model that hasn't been released yet, but I've unlocked every single one of them so far except Dawnbreaker, because Dawnbreaker requires a certain amount of special currency that you get into the game, and I'll show you that in a second. My favorite one used to be this one, Pandora. It was the first one I finished the game with, I believe, or no, this guy was the first guy I finished the game with. He's a melee character. She's more of a range. This is a ranged one as well, and it kind of shows you here the spells. They have 3 different spells and a kind of dash that differs between each character. So for example, this guy, he just dashes towards the location you're walking towards. This one will dash to the location of your mouse cursor, right? Or the direction you're aiming at. So this is going to be crucial when you're firing at enemies, when you're aiming at enemies to hit. If you dash before moving your mouse, you're going to dash right into the fucking enemies. So be careful with that. Plan ahead. And so forth. I haven't tried these guys because I unlocked them when I was beating the game last time I played it, which was a couple of days ago. And it's going to be interesting to play these guys because the game was getting a little bit repetitive for me. But so far, I really, really like this guy. He is the hybrid. He is one of the 2 main guys that you get. It's going to be this guy and this guy. Or, yeah, these 2 that you get in the beginning of the game. I do like his damage output, and then if you're going to see here, there's going to be these little boxes underneath each spell, and each of these boxes are going to tell you what each upgrade is going to give you once you level up enough in the game. So for example, this one, the first upgrade increases damage to burning enemies by 50%. This one receives elemental damage bonuses, additionally 15 damage to elemental damage bonuses, and then this one 50% chance to launch an additional disc, which, you know, will add up on the damage because you do launch a lot of discs. But basically, this launches a bunch of discs that bounce between enemies, and they do a little bit more, of damage, 200% of your actual damage of your character, and they can bounce up to 20 times. So, you know, you add that second disc, you get 40 bounces, which is a lot. You can choose your difficulty settings here. You can choose your mode here. The arena is difficult. I'm going to play the normal mode. I'm going to go into the landing zone here, which is going to drag me into the battlefield. I'm not going to play through the entire thing. I have beaten the game multiple times, and I've beaten the game once, 2 times over. But if anybody has played Risk of Rain 2, they are immediately familiar with what they're seeing right here. So the art style is very similar. The gameplay is very similar. Even though this is an isometric top-down shooter, it is quite significantly similar to Risk of Rain 2. So yes, a game with different genres can be very similar to a game with a completely different genre. So as you do in Risk of Rain 2, right, you're gonna be completing challenges in order to unlock your path to the next planet, or the next version of the planet you're on right now, which is gonna be increasing in difficulty of enemy types, enemy variety, different enemies, different attack damages, different strategies you're gonna have to implement. So these guys, they explode when they get too close to you, so you're gonna have to pretty much take them out before they can do that. That was my bouncing disc that you saw right there, and it's pretty much decimating all the enemies around it. Now the challenges of these discs are, you're gonna have to deal with random debuffs that might occur, and they do vary by disc, of course. So this one is requiring you that you constantly move and not stop moving, otherwise you're gonna get roasted. That's my first level up right there. As you can see on the right side of the screen, if I hit Q, it's gonna open up an upgrade selection. It's random what it gives you, except when you get to a certain level, you can upgrade your skills. So this one gives me option 10% movement speed, 10% base damage, and 5% cooldown to my skills. I kind of want to do the movement speed early on, so I can get to my objectives a little faster. But it's entirely up to you how you want to play it. If you do the cooldowns, that's going to allow you to do a little bit more damage, of course. If you do the speed, it's going to allow you to walk faster if you didn't put 1 and 2 together. So, you know, it's entirely how you want to play the game. Honestly, when I beat the game twice over with this character a while ago, I was putting everything on damage for the most part, and I was completely decimating. It was turning a little bit laughable, actually, on how easy it had become to kill the enemy. So right now, as you can see, there's a sphere preventing me from getting my cooldowns on creating the spell. So I was going outside that sphere so I can enable my cooldowns. It doesn't prevent you from casting spells, it just prevents cooldowns from it. So once you kill those enemies, you're gonna not have to worry about it anymore. Let's get a little bit more faster. I'm gonna break those things to unlock the currency that lets me buy the upgrades. And really, guys, this is really the same game with Risk of Rain 2. It's not to say that it's bad. I like Risk of Rain 2, actually. I didn't get into it as much as I would have liked to, but I did play it quite a decent amount, and it was really fun. And in a second, after I'm done with this, I'm going to explain what these guys are here. I'm going to do this because it's part of the upgrade. I'm going to go here. This guy's going to get fucked here soon. They teleport, which kind of sucks because they get out of your line of sight, and they can actually do a lot of damage. And sometimes it can be hard to actually dodge them. So let's see, we're going to do this one without even thinking about it, and I'll explain to you why very shortly, hopefully. Let's get another fireball on this guy. And we're going to do the second challenge. Each planet will have 2 challenges that you have to complete. And then after you complete those challenges, you can actually fight the boss. And once you fight the boss and beat them, if you manage to beat them, you can move on to the next planet, which is nice. it is recommended that you gain as much currency as possible for before you actually move on to the next planet, because you want to make sure that you've unlocked all of the power-ups available at the current planet that you're in. If you cannot, that's fine. When I beat this planet, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like, so it's not going to be the end of the world, but you know, you never know when one of these upgrades are going to be useful. So another upgrade here, we're going to go into the skills cooldown right now, because it's going to be very useful here soon once I have to destroy these guys. And hopefully I can get this guy down. He is down by my bouncing disc, which is nice. I gotta say, I really appreciate the art style of the game. I actually played this game many months ago when it was still in demo. It was a limited run demo that they had released, and it was nice to play. I really enjoyed the demo. I was really hoping for the full thing to live up to the standards of the demo. I feel like it has. I'm definitely not as disappointed with it as I was with a game called The Precinct, for example. So it's definitely a fun game. I think the asking price of the $15, even a full price, is fair. If there were more people playing it, or if you had a group of people to play it with, I believe it would be a lot more fun. But unfortunately, I was only able to play online once in the arena. There was a full party available, but they were AFK, and then we ended up just being two of us that were not AFK, that I just kind of ran my own party, and it was... We played the arena once. This is one of those games that I would like to play with friends. Kind of like Risk of Rain 2. It's nearly impossible to play on your own, in all honesty. So, let's try to avoid these fireballs here. If you had the melee guy, you could actually attack these fireballs and prevent them from hitting you, which is really interesting. Let's get the bouncing disc around and completely miss the boss here. I'm not really doing much damage because I didn't really pick up any good upgrades so far. I'm kind of planning ahead for my future here, but hopefully soon I can undo this. So here we go. We got the first upgrade. I'm gonna do that disc, and it's best to always combine the disc with the fireball that you hit. So let's see if I can do that, and then hit the disc. We're gonna be on fire from the fireball, and it's gonna do a little bit more damage. I'm actually dying here, which is interesting. I've never really struggled on the first boss, but one thing about this character that you pick, right? They can die once. Let's increase our attack speed. They can actually die once, and you can revive. And every time you level up, you actually heal as well, which is really nice and useful, and quite honestly very necessary. So let's get the upgrade here before we move on. I'm going to put these guys because they attack on the side, and we're going to move on to the next stage, which is going to be, you guessed it, the upgrade area. So kind of like Risk of Rain 2, I don't believe Risk of Rain 2 has an upgrade area at the end of every planet, but I might be mistaken on that one. So let's shoot that. I'm going to show you a couple of things here on the upgrade area. The more stages you beat, the more available power-ups you have to unlock. So eventually this whole thing fills up if you keep going, which you can, obviously. If you look on the map up here, this one is going to be one of those... things you have to buy that also gives you a boon instead of just a bane. It's a trade-off. And this is the Emporium here. And the Emporium is where you unlock new items, and where you also ban existing items if you don't want to see them. So right here, basic set. Let's say I do not want to see the kettlebell. I can exclude it for 5 of the whatever you... I can't remember what you call those. The special currency that you get. You get the currency by defeating enemies and by beating the game and so forth. So I've unlocked a few of these things that you can see here. The Bane Seal is required. Ooh, let's see if I can actually go and unlock a new triad. And it's going to be this one. Yep. So I'm going to unlock that, and then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to unlock that. And now I can unlock this triad. Speaking of triads, let's see what these are. So, argument. Right? This one. This one deals damage to enemies within a radius from you, which is pretty standard, right? There's going to be a ring around you. It's AoE damage, it's tick damage, it's really good. When you combine it with these 3 items, so I have 2 of them already, right? I have the I have the spike ball right here, and then I have this pill. This pill increases my speed and attack speed, and yeah, I think it's just attack speed actually. And this spike ball is this one right here. It increases the damage that I deal to enemies in this radius by 25%. When you combine these, and the way you combine them is actually by going here to this area of the map on this Shrine of Triads right here. Once you get all 3 items, you can unlock this triad, and then this will give you a unique bonus, right? So this one increased argument radius, so it basically makes this whole radius the same radius that inflicts the damage. So when you combine those 2, any enemy in that radius is going to be getting a lot more damage, and damage period. This one gives you a Cinder Flare that triggers a 75, 50, 25, 0% of the enemy's health, which is nice. It does damage. And this one I just unlocked, so I don't exactly know what it does. The Lugion triggers on the death of any enemy marked with the Bane seal. I guess we're going to find out what this is soon, right? So unfortunately, I cannot use any triad yet. But what I can do is break those fucking things open so they can give me some more currency. I'm going to go here, I'm going to dash, and I'm going to see what I can buy. HVC is part of a triad that I have not unlocked yet. Increases the Gatekeeper's damage. I'm going to buy that because I like damage. I'm going to do this one because it's pretty cool. I already have this, so I'm not going to buy it. But do I already have it? Yes, I already have it. The less health an enemy has, the higher the damage dealt to them. This is really crucial for, you guessed it, boss fights. Let's go back here and see what else we can unlock. Enemies with less than 40% health take more damage. You know what? This is part of a triad, and I don't know what it is yet, so I'm just going to leave it on locked. I haven't unlocked everything that I have available to unlock. As you can see, this one, for example, that just came through. This one on skill hit guarantees the creation of a projectile that attacks a random enemy within a radius of 20. This 4. That's expensive. I wonder what kind of triad this is part of. And this one, taking damage triggers an explosion, dealing damage within a radius of 10 around the Gatekeeper. 10-second cooldown. That's 3. That's a little bit more affordable. And what is this one here? Using the 3rd skill creates a vortex that pulls enemies in. That's the dash. That actually sounds pretty dope. I'm not going to get that either, but I'm going to see what I can get. Oh, I've unlocked so many more things here after I beat the game. It's pretty crazy. This one is a new one. Skill hits on stunned enemies deal critical damage. And then this is also a new one that unlocks a lot more triads. Actually, this is going to unlock an available triad. You're going to get that, you know. You want to unlock those triads as soon as possible, because they're going to be the most helpful to you. And I think I'm good on this. Kill an elite rampant. There's a lot. There's so much more that I haven't unlocked. But as you can see, that's basically how it works. The last character that you need to unlock needs 10 of these, so make sure you save them. But you can only unlock them on the first stage. Well, you can probably look up how to unlock them. I'm not going to tell you. You know what? Let's get these as well, just in case we unlock them in a new triad. And then after you're done here, you can go on to the next planet. So we're going to teleport onto the next planet. And I'm probably not going to play the whole planet for the video because it's already at 20 minutes. But what I want to say is my final thoughts. Right, $15, smooth, fast gameplay, non-existent community, sadly. Right, I wish there were more people playing this. A great variety of enemies, very, very fun gameplay. I really do enjoy the gameplay. I wish there was a dash that you can do within the walls, but you cannot, unfortunately. These are gifts, by the way. You don't have to pay for them. That's a nice gift to have. Let's do this. I really like the art style. You could argue that the challenge, some of these challenges are not very creative. So like this one, for example, I have to go to 3 different spots, avoid damage, of course, as I'm doing it, and then stand in a circle for a certain amount of time in order to complete the challenge. I have to do that 3 times. You know, I have to avoid these fucking things that do a lot of damage. Not just to me, but to enemies as well. It's not very creative, right? It's serviceable. I can't think of anything else better that I could have done right off the top of my head, so, you know, props to the developers, I suppose. This does do damage to enemies as well, which is really nice. It's not just damage to you, and I have an evolution here. Let's increase damage, because that was the way I beat the game effortlessly on the last go-through. I mean effortlessly, like I was just tearing through these boss fights like it was nothing. This increases my health by 20%, which is really important, but this one is gonna be reflects incoming damage to enemies within the range of 30. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's have a shield on us that will do damage to enemies around us. That's a good one to have. And then if I increase my health as well, I can actually use that to my advantage. I'll do this one. Launch a projectile, because why not? Right. I want to go here and get this power up actually, but I want to avoid this because it does so much fucking damage. Yeah. Kill those crystals there. Let's see. Oh, nice. We can get a little bit more attack speed. Not bad at all. Let's see if we can actually take these guys out. And there's a guy that prevents cooldowns, which is nice, but I can probably just tear through them. Ooh, let's lead them all here. Yes, lead them all here. You damage yourselves. I thought there was gonna be one of those challenges here because I saw the pulsing mechanism, but turns out there wasn't. Let's do this evolution, some damage, and so forth. I believe that this is the entirety of the game, right? There's not much else to show. There's much more to see when you play the game, but as far as this video is concerned, I think it's pretty much complete. So I'm gonna call it here while I wait for this guy to fill up. This was Gatekeeper. Let's see, it is actually developed by Gravity Lagoon and published by Hype Train Digital. $15 right now, 25% off on Steam, but other platforms have a much bigger discount if you want to grab it from those platforms. And I think you should. I think this is a very well put together game. It's fun. It's a lot more fun with friends if you can find some friends or make some friends to play with in order to have a little bit more fun. I do, however, want to point out that it's kind of annoying that you cannot pause a game and exit. So if you try to leave a game, and I think this is one of my biggest criticisms about this game that I almost forgot to mention, is that you have to terminate the run, right? Even on a single player. I understand on multiplayer that you cannot do that, but even on single player, if you try to pause the game and then come back to it another day, it actually terminates the run, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to see that not be the case, especially on a single player mode. You know, it's a little annoying. So that's essentially my main criticism of the game if I had to pick one. However, that being said, this has been Gatekeeper. I hope you found this useful, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.